Hi, welcome to this three-part series on how to make a short film. In today's episode, I'm talking all about pre-production and the importance of really planning your film. So let's get into it. So you've got this really awesome idea for a short film and you're gonna make this short film as soon as you physically can. That's awesome. But before you rush into the production part of this process, you really want to make sure you nail your pre-production in order to get a strong, solid, and really awesome film. So let me run you through that list right now. Okay, so before you even start thinking about your actors or your location, you need to get a strong script. It doesn't matter if you have the best cameras, the best location, the best actors. If you have a weak script and you're not telling a story, then you're going to have a really bad film. So really take the time to nurture your script and really get a great story in the beginning. And now when it comes to writing your script, it's really important that you have a great concept first. So you want to think about what's happening in the film, and then you want to move on to your characters and how they fit into the story. You want to make sure that every single character has a purpose. You don't want to write in pointless characters because this unnecessarily complicates things and it can really water down the film. So think about the key characters in the film and write those into strong roles. It's also really important that you show something instead of telling the audience something. So let's say you've got this character on screen who is really nervous about something that's going to happen. Rather than having another character saying, "Are you nervous?" you could show the actor tapping their foot, they can be picking their fingernails. You want to show the signs of that nervousness rather than telling it to the audience. Now the problem is with a lot of weaker scripts is they really water and dumb everything down for the audience. This comes across as patronizing and the script just feels really weak because of this. So show the audience, don't tell the audience. Now it's also really important that you cut down any fluff from the script. If there's any wasted scenes, any wasted lines, anything that's just going to waste time in the film, you want to completely cut from your script. It doesn't matter if you spent weeks coming up with this hilarious joke. If it serves no purpose in the film, you want to get rid of it and shorten the film. You don't want to drag out the film just for the sake of it. You want to keep this short, concise, and deliver that story. When you're coming up with your script, it's also really important to follow a 3-act structure. You've got your beginning, your middle, and your end. And typically this is going to be introduction, conflict, resolution. So part 1, introduction. You're going to introduce your characters, their backstory, where they're from, the location. You want to really introduce all of the key pieces of information in this first act. Second act, we have the conflict. So what's happened in the story? If you're writing a story about a love story, maybe this could be a partner cheating on the other person. If this is an alien film, this is where the aliens will come down to Earth and kidnap some people. And then we'll move on to act 3. This is the resolution. So everything's been fixed, we've returned back to normal order, everybody's happy. There you go, 3-act structure. Of course, you don't have to follow this advice. You don't have to follow the 3-act structure, but this is generally a good rule of thumb. If you're a beginner script writer and you haven't written a film before, then I would probably recommend sticking to this 3-act structure because you're going to guarantee that your audience is going to keep up with the storyline. Right, so now that you've got a brilliant script, it's up to you to go ahead and produce a storyboard. A storyboard is essentially just a loose drawing of all of the different scenes within the film. So a film is broken down into different scenes, and for each scene you want to do drawings of each specific shot and each specific key moment so that when you're on set you can see what you need to film, and this is really going to help to speed things up when it comes to production. Alternatively though, if you don't want to visualize it on paper like that, then you can just write out a rough shot list. So you can say for this scene, you're going to have this many shots. It's going to begin with an establishing shot. We go into a mid shot. Then we've got a 2-shot between characters and finishes on this specific moment. So this means when you're on set, you've got all of these different shots. You can rattle everything off and then move on and you know you've got everything filmed ready to go. Now, after your storyboards and your shot list, you need to go ahead and you need to scout locations. So obviously a film is filmed in a specific location and it's really important that the location fits the storyline. Don't film somewhere random just because it looks good. Make sure it means something to the film and really try and nail this. Now, it's always really advised that you go ahead and you get permission for locations that you're using, especially if you're using lights and loads of equipment on the day. You really want to make sure you've got the permission to shoot there. But if you're doing this on a budget, then just make sure you're not shooting on private property and make sure you've got a small enough crew to move on if you have to. And now that brings us on to actors. You've got to cast the right actors for your film. So once you drafted up your script, you should have an idea of what characters are in the film. You should know which characters are really needed, and this means you can go ahead and cast the correct actors for the characters in the film. It's really important that you correct the right people for these roles because two different actors will play the character completely differently. Yes, you can direct them on the set and you can ask them to do different performances, but an actor really brings something to the role and it really helps that character to come to life through their own artistic interpretation. So make sure you take the time to cast the correct actors for the job. And once you've done so, you can then move on to the call sheets. The call sheet is this simple planning document which you're going to send to all of your cast and your crew. And this is going to tell everybody where they need to be, what's happening, what's the rough time schedule for the day, when's lunch, when are we filming specific sections. This needs to go out to every single member of cast and crew before filming so everybody can be where they need to be at the right time. It's also recommended as well to hire in or borrow friends to make the film with you. It would be very difficult to be the director, the lighting technician, the camera operator, the sound engineer. Like all of these different roles need to be split into different people. Of course, if you've got a smaller budget, then multiple people are going to be doing many different roles. The director might be self-shooting, so the director is the cameraman, but you're going to need a person to capture the sound and worry about the lighting. Just bring in a few people to help make the job easier for you. And then once you've got the script, you've got the storyboards, you've got your actors, your crew, everybody's got the call sheets, you can now move on to the production process of the film. And this is where you're going to start making your film. So make sure you press that subscribe button in order to avoid missing part 2 of this video series. Thank you for watching this video and I will see you on part 2. See you there.